1. Title: Legacy of the Unholy Blood. In the heart of a secluded town, shrouded in dense forests and hidden from the prying eyes of the world, stood an ancient and eerie church known as St. Augustine's Sanctuary. The church was far from ordinary, for it concealed a dark secret, one that would entwine the lives of two unsuspecting individuals in a web of supernatural intrigue. Lucas, a quiet and reclusive scholar, had spent years researching his family's enigmatic history. His relentless pursuit led him to the quaint town where St. Augustine's Sanctuary loomed ominously. His investigations hinted at an unsettling connection between his lineage and a shadowy past. Mara, a young woman with a gift for deciphering ancient texts, had recently moved to the town, seeking solitude and a fresh start. Little did she know that her arrival would be the catalyst for unraveling the church's sinister mysteries. One fateful evening, Lucas ventured into the decaying church, driven by an insatiable curiosity about his ancestors. The church was a labyrinth of forgotten chambers, its walls adorned with cryptic symbols and unsettling frescoes. Lucas sensed an otherworldly presence lurking in the shadows. As he delved deeper into the church's history, he discovered a connection to a sinister cult that had worshipped a malevolent entity. This entity, known as the Dark Shepherd, was rumored to grant immense power, but at a terrible price. Mara, drawn by her own curiosity, soon crossed paths with Lucas. Together, they embarked on a perilous journey to uncover the truth behind the church's secrets. Their investigation revealed that Lucas was a descendant of the cult's leader, and he held the key to awakening the Dark Shepherd. As they delved deeper into their research, they encountered ghostly apparitions and felt the malevolent presence of the Dark Shepherd growing stronger. Lucas and Mara's bond deepened as they faced increasingly terrifying encounters, including the ghost of a priest who had once tried to banish the entity. With the church's sinister power on the rise, they realized that their only hope lay in stopping the awakening of the Dark Shepherd. In a desperate bid to thwart the malevolent entity, they uncovered an ancient ritual hidden in a dusty tome. The ritual required the combined efforts of both Lucas and Mara, as they performed the complex incantations within the bowels of the church. A cataclysmic battle between light and darkness ensued. The Dark Shepherd manifested in a horrifying spectral form, its power threatening to consume them. But with unwavering resolve and a deep love for each other, Lucas and Mara managed to complete the ritual just in the nick of time. The church trembled, and the malevolent entity was banished back into the abyss from which it had emerged. As the dust settled, the church's dark aura dissipated, and peace returned to the town. Lucas and Mara, forever changed by their harrowing experiences, vowed to protect the world from the horrors that lurked in the shadows. St. Augustine's Sanctuary would never again be a place of fear and dread, but a testament to the enduring power of love and sacrifice in the face of unspeakable evil. Story 2. Title: The Haunting of Willowbrook Church. In the quiet, picturesque town of Willowbrook, nestled deep within the woods, a centuries-old church stood as a grim sentinel. Its towering spire reached towards the heavens, casting an imposing shadow that seemed to engulf the entire town. This was no ordinary church. It was a place shrouded in darkness and whispered tales of horror. For generations, the townsfolk had known of the church's sinister reputation. Dark legends told of a malevolent spirit that had taken residence within its hallowed walls, a spirit that thrived on suffering and death. Sarah, a young woman with an insatiable curiosity, had always been drawn to the macabre and the unknown. When she heard the chilling stories about Willowbrook Church, she couldn't resist the temptation to investigate. One stormy night, Sarah, armed with a flashlight and a determination to uncover the truth, ventured into the heart of the woods. As she approached the foreboding church, the rain began to fall in torrents, obscuring her path. The church's ancient doors creaked open with an otherworldly groan, inviting Sarah to step inside. The interior was a chilling tableau of decay, with pews covered in cobwebs and stained glass windows that depicted scenes of unimaginable horror. As Sarah explored further, she heard faint whispers that seemed to emanate from the very walls of the church. Ghostly apparitions materialized before her eyes, their mournful cries echoing through the desolate hall. The tormented souls revealed themselves as victims of the malevolent spirit that haunted Willowbrook Church. They spoke of a curse that had befallen the town, a curse that demanded a blood sacrifice to appease the vengeful entity. Sarah's heart pounded as she realized the sinister truth. She had unwittingly become a part of the curse by entering the church. The apparitions pleaded for her help, for only an outsider could break the curse and free their souls. Desperate to escape the church's grip, Sarah embarked on a perilous quest to uncover the church's dark history. She combed through old archives, uncovering chilling records of past deaths and disappearances. It became clear that the malevolent spirit demanded a life for every generation, and it was Sarah's turn to pay the price. As the curse's deadline loomed, Sarah's investigations led her to a hidden chamber beneath the church, where she discovered a cursed altar. The altar bore the names of all those who had perished over the centuries, including her own. With trembling hands, Sarah performed a forbidden ritual, invoking the power of the spirits she had encountered. As she did, the church quaked, and the malevolent entity manifested before her, a ghastly apparition with hollow eyes and a hunger for death. In a final harrowing confrontation, Sarah faced the malevolent spirit, armed with the knowledge of its dark history. With a defiant cry, she shattered the cursed altar, releasing the tormented souls and breaking the curse that had plagued Willowbrook for generations. As the church crumbled around her, Sarah narrowly escaped its clutches, the malevolent spirit vanishing into the void. The townsfolk awoke to find the church in ruins, but the curse had been lifted, and the town was finally free from its malevolent grip. Sarah, forever changed by her ordeal, left Willowbrook behind, haunted by the horrors she had witnessed. Willowbrook Church would forever be a place of dread and despair, a chilling reminder of the darkness that could lurk in even the most sacred of places. Story 3, title: The Unholy Choir in a small, forgotten town nestled deep within the woods. There stood an ancient church known as St. Agnes Cathedral. Its Gothic spires pierced the night sky, casting eerie shadows that seemed to reach out like skeletal fingers. The townspeople spoke in hushed tones about the horrors that lurked within its sacred walls. One fateful night, a group of curious teenagers dared each other to spend the night in the forsaken church. Among them was Mark, Sarah, David, and Emily. Armed with flashlights and trembling courage, they entered the cathedral's dimly lit interior. As they stepped through the imposing doors, the temperature plummeted and the air grew heavy with a palpable malevolence. The pews creaked ominously, as if whispering long-forgotten secrets. Mark led the way, guided by a morbid curiosity he couldn't resist. In the center of the church, they discovered a sinister altar, adorned with macabre symbols etched in blood-red paint. As they approached, a grotesque figure emerged from the shadows, a towering horned entity with eyes like burning coals. "Welcome, children," it hissed, its voice a chilling melody. "You've ventured into my domain." It was none other than Satan himself, a being of unspeakable power. Panic gripped the group as they realized they were trapped, and their mere presence had summoned the ultimate evil. Satan issued a terrifying challenge. If they could sing a hymn so pure that it pierced his malevolent heart, he would grant them their freedom. But if they failed, their souls would be his, to torment for eternity. With trembling voices, the teens began to sing a hymn of hope and redemption. Their words filled the unholy cathedral, battling against the oppressive darkness. But Satan's laughter echoed through the church, drowning out their feeble attempts. Just when all hope seemed lost, an unexpected ally emerged. A mysterious, hooded figure at the back of the church. With a voice like an angelic choir, the stranger joined in, their song resonating with power and purity. As the harmonious melody swelled, Satan writhed in agony. His monstrous form contorted, and for a fleeting moment, his infernal power wavered. The teens and the mysterious figure continued to sing with unwavering determination. With a thunderous roar, Satan was banished back into the abyss from whence he came, leaving only a smoky residue behind. The church's malevolence lifted, and the temperature returned to normal. Exhausted and shaken, the teens turned to thank their savior. But the hooded figure had vanished into the shadows, leaving only a lingering sense of otherworldly grace. They fled from the cathedral, vowing never to speak of the horrors they had witnessed. But they knew they owed their lives to the unknown hero who had joined their voices against the unbeatable Satan, a guardian angel who dwelled in the shadows, ready to protect the innocent from the darkest forces of the abyss. Story 4, title: The Echoes of Sanctus Obscurum in the heart of a remote village shrouded in perpetual mist. A decaying church known as Sanctus Obscurum stood as an unsettling relic of forgotten fate. The villagers dared not speak of it, for it was a place of unspeakable horror where the living and the dead danced an eternal macabre waltz. Nina, a young woman burdened with a relentless curiosity, had always been drawn to the mysteries that surrounded Sanctus Obscurum. She had heard whispers of the church's sinister past, a past that left a trail of death and despair in its wake. Driven by an insatiable need to uncover the truth, she decided to investigate. One moonless night, armed only with a flickering lantern and a heart heavy with dread, Nina ventured into the village cemetery adjacent to the forsaken church. The tombstones were weathered and cracked, bearing the names of those who had met gruesome ends. The church loomed ahead, its crooked spire piercing the sky like a skeletal finger pointing to the abyss. Its doors, aged and rotting, hung ajar, inviting Nina to cross the threshold into darkness. Inside, the air was thick with an oppressive chill, and the scent of decay hung in the stale air. Candlelit sconces flickered ominously as she ventured further into the abyss. The walls were adorned with nightmarish frescoes depicting grotesque scenes of death and damnation. As Nina explored deeper, she heard faint whispers that seemed to emanate from the very stones of the church. Ghostly apparitions, their faces contorted in anguish, materialized before her. They spoke of a malevolent entity known as the Eternal Wraith, imprisoned within the church's cursed confines. The apparitions recounted a tragic tale of a wicked priest who had struck a sinister pact with the entity, exchanging the souls of the villagers for unholy power. The church had become a ghastly prison, trapping the souls of the departed in a never-ending cycle of torment. Nina's heart pounded as she realized the horrifying truth. She had unwittingly become a part of the curse by entering Sanctus Obscurum. The apparitions pleaded for her help, for only an outsider could break the curse and release their souls. Desperate to escape the church's malevolent grip, Nina delved into its darkest secrets. She discovered a hidden chamber beneath the altar where the priest had once performed his unholy rituals. The chamber bore an inscription written in a language older than time itself, invoking the Eternal Wraith's power. With trembling hands, Nina deciphered the forbidden incantations and performed the ritual, invoking the spirits of the villagers who had been wronged. As she did, the church convulsed, and the very foundations seemed to groan in protest. In a final, harrowing confrontation, Nina faced the manifestation of the Eternal Wraith, a grotesque amalgamation of tormented souls. With a defiant cry, she shattered the cursed altar, releasing the imprisoned souls and breaking the curse that had plagued the village for centuries. As Sanctus Obscurum crumbled around her, the apparitions vanished into the ethereal realm, leaving only silence in their wake. The villagers awoke to find the church in ruins, but the curse had been lifted, and the village was finally free from its malevolent grip. Nina, forever changed by her ordeal, left the village behind, haunted by the horrors she had witnessed. Sanctus Obscurum would forever be a place of dread and despair, a chilling reminder of the darkness that could lurk in even the most sacred of places. But the village, now free from the curse's oppressive grip, would forever remember the young woman who had dared to confront the unspeakable evil that dwelled within Sanctus Obscurum, and in doing so, had brought salvation to their haunted souls. Story 5. Title: The Haunting Vows on a Misty Autumn Evening. The picturesque St. Mary's Church was adorned with vibrant flowers, and soft candlelight danced on the pews. It was the night of Elizabeth's wedding, and her heart swelled with joy as she walked down the aisle toward her soon-to-be husband, William. But little did they know that their wedding would become a nightmarish tale of love, betrayal, and the vengeful dead. The church was brimming with guests, all eager to witness the union of the two young lovers. As the ceremony began, Elizabeth and William exchanged heartfelt vows, their love radiating throughout the sacred hall. As they prepared to light the unity candle, a gust of icy wind swept through the church, extinguishing all the candles. The room plunged into darkness, and the congregation gasped in unison. But amidst the chaos, a single candle remained aflame on the altar, casting a sinister glow. Suddenly, the ghostly figure of a man materialized beside the altar, his face obscured by shadows. His presence was suffocating, and the air grew heavy with dread. Elizabeth's face contorted in terror as she recognized him. It was Daniel, her former lover, who had perished in a tragic accident just months before. With a malevolent grin, Daniel extended his ghostly hand toward the candle's flame, transforming it into a twisted, burning dagger. The congregation watched in horror as the spectral weapon descended upon William, piercing his heart with an otherworldly, searing pain. William's agonized screams filled the church as he crumpled to the ground, his life extinguished like the candles that once illuminated their love. Elizabeth's eyes welled with tears as she realized the truth. Daniel's vengeful spirit had returned from beyond the grave to claim her. In a heart-wrenching twist, Daniel's ghost spoke with a chilling, ethereal voice. "You promised to be mine forever," he whispered, accusing Elizabeth of betrayal and breaking their promise. The church bells tolled mournfully as Elizabeth fell to her knees, overcome with grief and guilt. The vengeful ghost of Daniel vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a chilling silence. The wedding guests fled in terror, leaving the cursed church behind, forever haunted by the night love had turned to betrayal. Elizabeth was left to wander the empty pews, her wedding dress stained with blood and tears, tormented by the ghost of her former lover who'd killed her groom with a burning candle, all in the name of a twisted and eternal love.